Alrighty, fellow travelers, welcome back to the Adventures of a Traveling Don. My name is Benjamin O, and we are continuing our Bar Harbor-centric series here today. And as you can see, it's pretty much the end of the season. The fall leaves have already begun to fall. There's not much going on anymore. This is basically right at the beginning of November, and I'm going to tell you right now, it starts to get really quiet in this town. But before I leave, because I got a few more days left, before I leave, I wanted to show you guys a couple of different hikes that you can do, whether it's during the busy summertime or in the fall, end of the season. And they're kind of like secret hikes you can do directly from Bar Harbor. And they're not that difficult, but come along and let's go do some secret hikes here in Bar Harbor, Maine. All right, so for the first hike at Compass Harbor, you're basically gonna come down Main Street about 3/4 of a mile from the center of Bar Harbor into what basically becomes the 3. And eventually you will hit this little kind of like gravel dirt parking lot. This is technically part of Acadia National Park, even though I think it's also within the boundaries of Bar Harbor town limits. It is also still part of Acadia National Park. So I believe you do, during the season, need a pass to park here if you're gonna drive all the way up. And you can easily miss it if you're coming up from Bar Harbor or even going past it into Bar Harbor from, say, like Northeast Harbor. But just be on the lookout for this. And then you basically will start on the trail. It's probably about another half a mile, 3/4 mile loop. So we're gonna go check that out. But it is very historically significant because this area used to have a old farmstead house that was owned by George B. Dorr. And Mr. Dorr, of course, is basically known as the father of Acadia. It was through his expense and whatnot that really kind of took this whole area and made it into an actual national park. He's the biggest reason why Maine does have a national park.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just put it all behind. Remember.
Okay, so first point of note when you are doing the Compass Harbor Trail. The Compass Harbor Trail is just a branch off of a much larger Schooner Head Path trail. So this will be kind of your first divergence where you can go around and we'll head to Compass Harbor that way. There'll be one more on the backside which also circles around. But if you were to head down Schooner Head Path all the way, that would take you all the way to Sand Beach. Now it's a long hike, but again, it's not very difficult when it comes to elevation stuff, but it is probably close to about 4 miles one way. So it's almost about 8 miles from the center of downtown Bar Harbor. But that is an option if you do not have a car and you don't want to rent one of the, if you don't want to rent one of the electric vehicles, or you're here late in the season after they've stopped the buses, you can still get to Sand Beach. It's just a long walk. So, but anyway, just wanted to point that out, that this is all part of a greater Schooner Head Path that is Compass Harbor.
You and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone.
And this is Compass Harbor, one of the most beautiful little hidden gems here in Acadia National Park and Mount Desert Island, just south of Bar Harbor. I mean, it's so easily accessible. It's so just naturally gorgeous. You get this kind of like beautiful 360 view when you're here on the rocks, and you get the islands in the background. You got the mainland as well. The trail's nice in and of itself, but really the gem is here at the harbor when you sit out here on the rocks. Sometimes, whether I'm working or I have a day off, if I'm not doing any major hikes, I'm just staying in town. Maybe like during the dryer cycle for the dryer when I've got 60 minutes, I'll just come quick down here, enjoy a little bit of nature, just kind of zen yourself out, and then head back. It's such a gorgeous little gem. And like I said, it is connected to Acadia National Park. So, but yeah, this is Compass Harbor, guys.
Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds to turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, gone, gone.
So the last point of note on the Compass Harbor Trail is, of course, here what is called the Old Farm. And this actually used to be George Dorr's estate. So the father of Acadia used to actually have a nice estate home right here, not too far off of Compass Harbor. Which you gotta imagine, it must have been absolutely fantastic to have your own little estate, you know, surrounded by the woods, right next to that gem of a harbor. Just, oh, what a place to have lived. So, but unfortunately is now only ruins, because after George Dorr died in 1944, this place basically got taken over by the National Park Service, and they decided to strip it down to basically the last bare bones, which you can still see as kind of a testament that it was here at any point. There has been movements over the years for George Dorr supporters to actually put, like, not rebuild the place, but actually just have like a monument to George Dorr out here. National Park Service has still stated that they don't want that to happen, so I'm not sure what's going on with all that stuff. But if you do want to see a little piece of history, you can still see the bare bones of the floors of what used to be a actually rather decent size estate, because it goes all the way back over through this area too, if you were to rake up all these leaves. So, but anyway, yeah, this is the old farm here on the Compass Harbor Trailhead.
River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're gone.
All right, so that was the Compass Harbor Trailhead. So that is secret hike number 1. The second one we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go head back to town and then head towards what is called the Tarn.
Hey, I was hoping you would stay, but I've always known you would go and find your own way.
So when you are hiking and walking in Acadia, keep your eyes open, because occasionally you'll run into some friendly faces, including my friend Meg here from Lompoc Cafe. That Hidden Gems video I said, the one that wasn't open on a Monday, definitely check out Lompoc Cafe, best bartender in town. And then, of course, also, we got to meet Scout. Hello, Scout. How are you? Look at this beautiful boy. Hello. Yeah, you never know who you'll meet on the trail, so always keep your eyes open.
Still see when we climbed up in those trees.
So one thing to remember about these two different trails that we are going on, you have to double back to Bar Harbor first before you go to either one of these two trails, because they are in slightly different directions, and as far as I'm aware, there's no major connection to them. So you definitely have to come back to Bar Harbor. But to come back up to the Tarn, you basically come back to Bar Harbor, go up to Ledge Lawn Cemetery, take the Great Meadow Loop Road, and then head around towards, as if you're heading towards Kibo Trail. Do not go down Kibo Trail. Kibo Trail will take you towards Cadillac Mountain. If you followed a former video of mine that I did Cadillac Mountain, that's the way to go. However, you want to continue on the Great Meadow Loop and follow the trails towards the Jessup path. That is where you want to go to get to the Tarn.
12 years old, to feel the wind and watch the river run, and the sun would always shine when we sat there, you and I. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're.
Okay, and so this is the Jessup path, and this is, along with the Tarn, along with Compass Harbor, this is a true kind of beautiful little gem that not a lot of people know of, because most people don't come and take this particular path, because this eventually does lead to the Wild Gardens of Acadia. Most people drive to the Wild Gardens. Some will divert and go down the path, but in general, most people don't take this path or even the Hemlock path. And the way that Jessup path is set up is it is divided between north and south of the Hemlock path, because the Hemlock path kind of circles back around and it then eventually heads towards one of the parking lots. However, what is great about this path is it cuts right through the Great Meadow Wetlands here in Acadia National Park, and is one of the biggest wetlands here on the coastal part of Maine and in Acadia. And it's just this kind of like beautiful, quiet, just natural place to kind of like come and enjoy. Right now, the trees, of course, this is November, most of the leaves have pretty much all fallen, so they're dead, but during the summertime or even during fall, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's like the north side is kind of like this more tall grass that does have water underneath it, but it looks almost kind of like you know, it's much more covered and it's a little bit more open. There's less trees. And when you get to the south side, as you're heading towards Wild Gardens Acadia, you actually are walking along this bridge path that takes you above the wetlands. And it's absolutely fantastic. There are times you'll find wildlife here, but it's more just kind of like, it's a quiet, beautiful path to walk when you're here in Acadia National Park. And particularly if you're heading to the Wild Gardens of Acadia.
Gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're gone.
All right, so the final major stop before we get to the Tarn is here, of course, at the Wild Gardens of Acadia and their nature center. Now, I've already done a video of some hidden gems around Acadia National Park that does include this last year. I will leave a link in the description for that particular video if you want to check out the segment of the Wild Gardens of Acadia in that video. It was actually kind of a nice one because it kind of goes around to other places too, Hunter's Beach and stuff like that. However, we're going to finish off and head towards this kind of trail that heads all the way up. So we're not too far. I think we still got about less than half a mile to get to the Tarn to end this video.
It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry. River's gonna cry when you're gone. It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry.
All right, so we finally made it to the Tarn behind me, and as you can see, an absolutely beautiful gem of a place. I mean, the fact that it has like that dip in the mountains between Champlain and Dorr and Cadillac, and you just have this nice, beautiful little body of water. I just call it a big pond. I wouldn't say it's a size of a lake, but it does go a decent way over on that side. Just think about, it's about 3/4 of a mile, maybe even a mile to get across along the trail. There is a trail, rocky trail, that goes all the way down and continues on into the park. So you can kind of keep going throughout the whole park. But like just coming to this area right here, I just absolutely love. It's a little bit windy right now, as you can probably see, and it's really cold. This is, you know, November 2nd, November 3rd that I'm shooting this on. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous place to come to. Like I said, if you're looking for a, you know, relatively easy hike, Compass Harbor, the Tarn, these are places to really come to kind of get away from Bar Harbor, from the madness of the main part of Acadia National Park, and just kind of really, really enjoy it. And like I said, the Tarn, you can continue on, so there are more trails to go to. But anyway, yeah, this is the Tarn in Acadia National Park.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just leave it all behind.
Alrighty, fellow travel dons, that is going to be the end of this particular video. I hope you guys enjoyed these two kind of like secret hidden gem hikes here in Acadia National Park that you can do from Bar Harbor with your own 2 feet, without any cars, without any of that. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up, and of course, like the video. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. What are you waiting for? And I do want to give a big shout out, of course, on my Patreons, and of course, my Buy Me a Coffee account members. If you do want to help support the channel, I'll leave links in the description for all of those. And until we meet again, guys, peace out and have a great night.